Look at Chicago. 2.1 million people, businesses are closed. South side of Chicago is basically empty with basically zero businesses, zero grocery stores, even zero pharmacies in some areas. It's getting really bad, and Chicago is slowly going broke. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on migrant crisis, but they're just letting crime run free. 500 cars in the past week got stolen and broken in. This is not the city to live in, guys. And no wonder, 3 KFC locations on the south side of Chicago suddenly closed down without much of a warning. Okay, and apparently a lot of people are saying that these stores are doing fine, and then they suddenly close down. Now, Kentucky Fried Chicken, it may not be the best chicken, but generally their sales are pretty decent in many neighborhoods. Okay, they don't just go bankrupt right away, and not to mention it's not one store shutting down. Now, if it was one store shutting down on the south side, it could be like their business wasn't good because the food was pretty terrible and everyone avoided it. But when you have 3 locations all kind of in the same proximity of each other, all closing down, it's kind of worrisome. Now, people are saying that many of these closings of Chicago stores are due to crime, and I do agree. In fact, Chicago's robbery sprees are going out of control. They're basically killing several of their own business in the spotlight. And check out the Walmarts. They're closing down. Now, Walmarts, KFCs, and even cafes, fresh grocery stores in the south side will make you a lot of money. They really would, because the competition is very light. There's not a lot of stores in the south side. So why did these stores close? Well, they just keep getting robbed, right? Walmarts are enormous, and if you do a little bit more shoplifting here and there, eventually they have to close. Walmarts are closing down in many of America's biggest cities because they keep getting shoplifted. And when a lot of these stores call the police doesn't care. They can't do anything. They're short-staffed. In fact, Chicago is, according to some people, a lost cause at this point. And when you have the fried chicken places closing down, the Walmarts closing down, and of course the small mom and pop stores now leaving, it's getting worse and worse by the day for Chicago. And it's not just a Chicago thing, guys. It's in many cities of the U.S. Like, look at this lady being very frustrated in Oakland. She's saying that there's a lot of stores that want to open in her area because it will make a lot of money. There's not that much competition. The Dunkin' Donuts came in. They shut down because they got robbed. A lot of crime. The Cane's actually opened up, but they apparently had to prevent indoor dining because it got so bad. Starbucks is closing down. The Walmart back there is closed down. The In-N-Out closed down. I know for sure, guys, the In-N-Outs will always make money. It's a very good burger spot, but it's the first time in almost a century, 75 years, that In-N-Out has closed down. The first In-N-Outs has closed down in Oakland, pretty close to the airport location. Look at all these businesses, they're slowly closing down. I guess the Wingstop and the Subway are barely functioning, but I'm not really sure if they could actually withstand the crime wave heat. But if you clearly see the amount of investment several of these big chains have poured into a lot of these stores, they're not getting a return on their investment. And we live in a very simple capitalistic society. If you don't make money, we leave. Now, talking about food stores and grocery stores are cool, but you know what's even crazier is the heart of Chicago may be leaving. The CME Group and Cabot. You know, Chicago is pretty famous and really rich because all of the stock options and different Forex orders are all routed to Chicago for processing. That's what makes Chicago very, very nice, very wealthy and unique. But with the crime being so high, Chicago and many of their companies no longer want to be here. Okay, and I'm not even going to be surprised if a lot of these companies move to less traditional areas for finance, like Florida or Nevada. Those are going to be probably the top places. Look at the idea. These stores are closing, and they're closing down fast. Comment below. What do you guys think Chicago should do to prevent any more of these store closings? It's getting bad, guys. In fact, there's been little to no investment on the south side of Chicago. Crime is going rampant. The cops can't do anything. And I feel like law and order has basically collapsed. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.